Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry, a sentence the algorithms love. The Oscars are tonight. That was well covered yesterday. Meanwhile, Wanda Sykes was on Stephen Colbert's program and encouraged him to burn this bitch down on his final episode, scheduled for May 21st. Wanda Sykes told Stephen Colbert, "You gotta go to hell off the last show. Burn this bitch down. You always bring the fire every night, but this last show has to be destruction." Colbert said, "I want to get Pope Leo on here. He's ghosting me. He's wholly ghosting me." Jimmy O. Yang has a new special, but where's it going to be airing? Nowhere. It's a theatrical release. I couldn't believe it when I read this. It is Jimmy O. Yang's third comedy special, this one called Finally Home. He taped it during a sold-out arena run in Hong Kong. The special will screen exclusively in Hong Kong at Emperor Cinemas beginning March 20th. If you can't make your way to Hong Kong, wait a week, and it will open in theaters across the USA and Canada March 27th. Jimmy O. Yang, self-proclaimed as the Taylor Swift of Hong Kong. Love it. In the special, he talks about his family fighting for the bill and his experience as an immigrant returning to his hometown for the first time in 25 years, weaving together his English set with a touch of subtitled Cantonese. There is a trailer. I play a little bit of it. I found it to be a little noisy, and I like Jimmy O. Yang a lot, so I am excited about this one, but I didn't love the trailer. Let's listen.
You know why Asian people love gambling? It's our only extreme sport. It's all we got. The only thing that gets my adrenaline going is the possibility of losing money to a stranger. I love these Chinese karaoke systems. After every song, the machine gives you a score. Is it AI? Or just some old Assam in the back judging you through the kitchen? 72. No. They're asking the CEO of TikTok, he's like, "Are you Chinese?" "I'm Singaporean, sir." "Is Singapore in China?" "No, it's in Singapore, sir."
Tom Segura was speaking with Forbes about his amazing staff at YMH Studios. Segura, on his podcasting front, said they handle everything. They take care of everything from the booking to the prepping to the show to the technical aspect. There's a post studio there, a social media team. They do everything. And the idea is we just show up. We get to be ourselves and hang out and do the show, which I think is the best version of the show. For us, it's just be on there, be yourself, have fun, talk crap, and that's kind of how we try to do it. Incredible staff at YMH. Tom said he had no idea the podcast would really launch him. He said, "Of course not. I had zero desire to do it. I didn't want to start a podcast. I got talked into it and reluctantly was doing it. And it's one of those things where I realized I was having fun doing it. I didn't even realize there's an audience listening. You couldn't tell at first, but I just realized you can put up the show you want to put on. It's the same as stand-up. In stand-up, you get to say what you want to say. And so when I had been a guest on a podcast, I was like, I don't want to do this, but I realized I didn't want to do their podcast. I want to do my podcast, and figuring that was a really exciting thing. On Friday, I told you Theo Von was going to be at the Baton Rouge Parade. As I record this later on Friday, I'm told that Theo Von dropped out of the parade. No reason given at this time. Some people observed that Theo Von had a Friday night show and 2 Saturday night shows in Florida, neither of which are in Louisiana, where Baton Rouge is. Now, you can travel back and forth, and Theo can probably afford the plane, but maybe, perhaps, possibly, he didn't want to be in Florida Friday, Louisiana Saturday, and then do 2 shows last night. Who knows? Hope everything's okay there. George Lopez spoke to NJ.com about doing politics. He said, "I tried not to cross the line, but in comedy, no one else was talking about the inner workings of the family or what we mean to America. I was never particularly political, but over the past 15 years, I felt there needed to be a voice. It didn't matter to me whether people agreed or disagreed. I wasn't doing it for approval. It's a small part of what my act is, but of course it's there. I always try to make people laugh. I'm not preaching, and there are ways I can still get the message across without dividing the room." Ron Funches had nice things to say about Donna Kelce and about meeting Travis Kelce. This happened when Ron Funches was on Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? Funches called Kelce an amazing game show host. Never met this man in my life, and honestly was like, all right, football guy, you got to come in here and host the show. The thing I want to do, I want to host the show. Let me see what you got. And I'm like, damn, this man is charming as hell. I get this is why you're marrying a billionaire. He's so charming and so sweet and so kind. Angela Kinsey, you know her as Angela from The Office, revealed she would love to reprise her character for the Peacock spinoff series The Paper. I don't think I've actually finished The Paper. I was kind of sort of into it and got distracted. I don't know. I should probably watch the last 2 episodes, whatever I have left. But shockingly, Angela would take more work. No way.
No way.
She told show developer Greg Daniels, "Greg, if you need Angela Martin to come, if Oscar's having an accounting problem and Angela needs to come, I'd be more than happy to. We'll see if that happens. Mackenzie Crook played Gareth on the UK Office. The real one, no offense. It's not like I don't love the American Office, but I don't know why I had to say the UK Office, because the UK Office is The Office. The one with Steve Carell is the American version. Anyway, I digress. Crook told The Guardian, after The Office, I wanted to write something that wasn't cruel humor, that didn't have a cringe factor, and in doing so, I stumbled upon my genre, gentle comedy. Not wild about the term. It sounds both unfunny and as if you're trying not to offend anyone. He said he recently rewatched The Real Office and said in Series 2, a fire alarm goes off and everyone's evacuated. Watching it, I had this real Pavlovian reaction where my heart just sank because I knew something awful was coming up. I'd forgotten all about it. What happens is David and Gareth, you had 20 years, start trying to get a disabled employee down the stairs, then give up halfway through, saying if it was a real fire, they'd definitely come back for her. It's excruciating. Steve Harvey caught up with hookandbarrel.com, your home for comedy news. He talked about his fishing days. He said, I traveled with a rod, reel, tackle box, skillet, some charcoal, cornmeal, and grease. When I caught bass, crappie, or brim, I'd clean them on the bank, stop at a rest area, and cook them on those cast iron grills. That's how I pretty much survived. Fishing wasn't fun for me. It was about staying alive. Now, one day, he stopped at a lake, caught some fish. The owner of the property showed up and said, hey, this ain't your lake. Why are you fishing over here? Steve Harvey said, I apologize, and pulled my line out of the water, and then he said, those ain't your fish, throw them fish back. Harvey threw all 6 fish back in the lake. He says, that was my dinner. I got in the car a little teary-eyed, and I told God one day I'm going to buy me a piece of land with a pond on it, and nobody can throw me off, and I'm going to fish wherever I want to. 6 years later, Steve Harvey was on television. Tomorrow will be the Oscars recap on a normal episode. Then at noon Eastern, the results of Comedy Survivor. I have not yet looked at the results as I record this. Looking forward to see what happened. It was a lot of fun in the Facebook group this week, a lot of chatter. At South by Southwest today at 4 o'clock, the UCB Ask Cat Show. That is a regular show at festivals. That's at Esther's Follies. At 6:15, The Creek and the Cave hosts Comic Relief and the Moth present Funny Story. The website has things out of time order here because 15 minutes before that at 6 o'clock, why didn't you? I don't know. Gotham Comedy Club presents Jared Freed, Tone Bell, Gavin Matz, Casey Balsham, and Sophie Buttle. That's a pretty decent show. At 7 o'clock at the Creek and the Cave at South by Southwest, so everything has a sponsor. It's Facebook presents Robert Schultz, Amber Wallen, Chloe Radcliffe, Jazz Saini, and Paris Sachet. 8 o'clock at Esther's Follies, Britannic. 9 o'clock, Creek and the Cave has Dropout presents Dirty Laundry. At 10 o'clock, back at Esther's, the Anything But Basic Cabaret. Also at 11 at the Creek and the Cave, Bombing with Eric Andre. And from BeliefNet, your home for comedy news. I used that joke already, didn't I? Leave it in. Jeff Foxworthy was speaking at the Conversation on Biblical Manhood put on by the Church of 1122 in Jacksonville. Other speakers included Tim Tebow, the football player, and Pastor Matt Chandler of Texas. Jeff Foxworthy opened up about his struggles in becoming a biblical father and man, noting how the failings of his own father put him behind the mark. I didn't know this about Jeff. Jeff's father was married 6 times, drank, smoked, cussed, told dirty jokes. Jeff said, I didn't know how to be a good husband. I didn't know how to be a good dad, but I could see guys that were good husbands, and I could see guys that were good dads, and I knew enough to pick their brain. Pastor Martin warned about the dude phase of manhood. Foxworthy called that phase the freedoms of adulthood with the responsibilities of childhood, and we've got a bunch of guys locked in right there with that, and it's not a good combination. And that is your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.